Hello and welcome to the Automated Membership Machine. In this video series, I'm going to talk about how to create a fixed term membership site. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is video number 1, the introduction and the tools that you're going to need. Now, before we get started and begin the implementation process of your fixed term membership site, I want you to get into the right mindset. I don't want you to be concerned about the fancy membership site scripts. I know a lot of times when you create a membership site, you're thinking, okay, what kind of membership script out there would be good for me? And then you start looking into the membership scripts and you see how all these features are and this and that. And then when you begin to implement that script, you realize how complicated it really is. So what I want you to do is just think. This is the simplest form of a membership site that you can create. A fixed term membership site integrated with Aweber, GetResponse, or any other autoresponder service. In fact, you're going to be amazed how easy this is once we jump in. And you might even think to yourself, wow, is this really it? So what I want to do instead of talk about it is just jump straight into it, talk about the tools you need, prepare you for everything so that we can begin to implement the fixed term membership site. Now what I want to do is give you a quick overview. This is video number 1, and video number 2, I'm going to help you plan, brainstorm, and prepare for video number 3, which is where you gather all your content, we organize that content so that it is ready to be uploaded. Video number 4, I'm going to talk about how to create a higher stick rate and customer value. Now, a lot of people don't think about this when they create a membership site. They just create it and assume that people are going to stick around. Now, the average dropout rate is usually 3 months and so forth. But there are tricks that you can use to actually get your customers to stay. And I'm going to talk about that in video number 4. Video number 5, we're going to create a thank you page or a downloaded page, the same thing. So basically after the person pays, they see the thank you page, they fill out the Aweber form, and then they're forwarded to get your content and so forth. So we're basically creating an automated membership machine. Video number 6, we're going to talk about how to create a PayPal subscription button and put that onto your sales page so that when somebody buys, they are sent to your thank you page. And video number 7, we're going to talk about how to upload the pages and get the URL. So for example, what we're going to do is we're going to upload the main thank you page as well as all of the other content and so forth, like week 1, week 2, or month 1, month 2, and so forth. Video number 8, we're going to talk about how to deliver your content using your Aweber or GetResponse or autoresponder system. And then video number 9, we're going to talk about testing it. It's vital to test out your system before you make it live. So we want to make sure that we test it. I'm going to show you how to do that. And of course, last but not least, video number 10, I'm going to show you how to minimize your support. In other words, once you have that fixed term membership site, what can you do to minimize your support? Because you don't want to be overwhelmed by the same exact questions over and over again. Now what I want to do now is talk about the tools you need so that you can gather those tools before we begin the implementation process. You're going to need a website. You're going to need a domain and web hosting. Now in this video series, I'm going to assume that you already have a website and you already have your content. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to implement this and create an automated machine and add it to your website. You're going to need to have a FTP program, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. All that means is a fancy term for uploading your files to your web hosting account. So FileZilla, it's a free software. You don't have to pay anything. Composer, I love it. I use it. and it's a free tool as well. It's a tool that allows you to edit the thank you pages, the sales pages, and so forth. And you're also going to need an autoresponder, whether that's Aweber, whether that's GetResponse, and so forth. Now, if you're just getting started, what I recommend you do is just start out with the basics. Start out with the cheapest plan. And once you grow, then, add upon that plan. So that's that. Let's move on to video number 2. And let me help you go ahead and plan, brainstorm, and begin to gather your content. Hello and welcome to video number 2. We're going to talk about planning, brainstorming, and preparation. So let's go right ahead and do some quick planning and prep work. Here's a quick overview of what we're going to be discussing in this specific video. We're going to talk about your sales funnel because it's important to know how you're going to deliver your content. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about how long will your membership site last and the delivery plan. Every one of these pieces are components that work together. Let's talk about the basic sales funnel. How are you going to deliver your product from the point of the person landing on the sales page to going to the PayPal button to getting delivered the content? Normally, this is what it looks like. Somebody goes to your sales page, they click on the PayPal subscription button. It can be monthly, it could be weekly, and so forth. Then after that, they pay. They're sent to the thank you page, which includes the autoresponder sign up. And then through the autoresponder, they are delivered products through the autoresponder. So that's what the basic fixed term membership site looks like. Now, if you were to get a little more complicated and add a sales funnel with a one-time offer, then it would look like this. You have a sales page, they get on the sales page, they click the PayPal button, and then after that, they see a one-time offer that says, hey, hold on, we've got a one-time offer here. If they go purchase it, then they get sent to the one-time offer thank you page with the autoresponder, or if they say no, then they're going to be sent to the regular thank you page. Then after that, the products get delivered through the autoresponder. So if you add a one-time offer, it does make it a little more complicated, but it's really not that bad. But in this specific video series, I'm going to talk about the sales funnel in relation to a basic sales funnel with no one-time offer. So this is important to know just so that you can put all the pieces together and know exactly what you need to do. Branding. There are different ways that you can brand your fixed term membership site. What most of you are going to probably do is use the umbrella method, which basically means that you have one brand that covers this whole fixed term membership site. Now, if your membership site is about, let's say, selling products or something, then you might want to have a specific brand, but brand each individual new product. So what I'm trying to get at here is make you plan ahead, make you understand how to plan ahead, make you understand how to brand your fixed term membership site so that it sticks within the customer's mind. So how are you going to brand this? That's a big question that you need to ask yourself, because once you begin to run your fixed term membership site, your brand is going to be out there. People are going to hear about you, either good things or bad things. So you definitely need to have a good brand so that you can build that brand and sell in the future. Then you're going to need to know how long your membership site will last. Now, what you can do initially is when you gather all the content and see how much content you have, what kind of content you might need to add, then that will tell you how long your membership site will last realistically. You could have 6 weeks of content. You could have 6 to 12 months worth of products. It really depends on your audience and who is buying your products. For example, if your audience just wants super quick information they don't want anything long, they just want 5 minutes of this and that, then maybe you could do a daily thing of 5 minutes, one video, which is 2 to 5 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes, something quick. So it really depends on your audience. You got to think to yourself, what would my audience want? And another good way to figure that out is to look at your competitors. What are your competitors doing? What are competitors doing that is working? And what are competitors doing that is not working? If you understand all of this, then it'll make it easier for you to figure out how long your membership site will last, because it varies differently from niche to niche, from topic to topic, and from market to market. So figure that out, and once you figure how much content you have and how long it'll last, then you can understand your delivery plan. And that's very, very easy. It just follows through with the same thing. You can do daily, X number of days, weekly, every 2 weeks, every X weeks, monthly, and so forth. And once you understand your delivery plan, then when you set up your autoresponder, then all you have to do is create a new follow-up for every one of those days, those X days, those weeks, and so forth. And then daily is probably overkill unless it's small bite-sized quality content, like I said earlier. So depends on your audience. And weekly is good if it's actionable content. Most people are not going to have time to do something, every single day. But they'll definitely have time to do it every single week. So like I said, think about your audience, think about your competitors, and then create a plan from that point. Hello and welcome to video number 3. We're going to talk about gathering and organizing your content. Here is how it is going to work. First, you're going to get all your content and put it all in one folder. It doesn't have to be organized. And then you're going to start making other folders. You're going to need to have some sort of system to know which folders are which. So what I recommend is you figure out your delivery plan. So once you figure out your delivery plan, then you can do week 1, week 2, week 3, and so forth. In month 1, month 2, month 3, and so forth. But you never want to do something that is easily guessed, like week 1, week 2. You always want to add some sort of numbers after it or before it. But you still want to keep it where you know exactly what week 1 and 2 and so forth. You don't want to do something random, like a bunch of numbers and a bunch of numbers. You want to make it so you understand what it is, but then at the same time, other people can't guess it. Because when we're setting up this type of fixed term membership site, we're not going to be doing any protection whatsoever. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, can't somebody share it? Can't somebody, this and that? Yes, they probably could, but in reality, you do this so you can take one step forward to get ahead and to protect yourself. But at the same time, if you begin to worry about all these complicated protection scripts and so forth, I guarantee it'll put you back a month or two, or even more than that, and you will not get things done. So this is an extra added layer of protection to protecting yourself. So once you've done that, you can put everything into the folders, and it's time to move on. So with that said, now you know what to do. I'm going to show you how to do it, and let's hop over to Windows and start gathering that content and organizing it. The first thing that I recommend that you go ahead and do is to create a folder with the name of your fixed term membership site or the theme, and then add all of your content in this folder. Okay, so I went ahead and copied the content over to this folder, and let's say, for example, that I want to create a fixed term membership site about outsourcing, and each and every month I'll have a different course on outsourcing. Now, let's say, for example, month number 1, I have a video series on Fiverr outsourcing, how to outsource different tasks on Fiverr.com. So in this case, I have about 9 different videos. Now, before I begin to say, okay, this is day 1 or week 1 or day 2, day 3, day 4, you have to think about, okay, if somebody's going to watch this specific video or read this specific piece of content, are they going to feel satisfied for that day? Well, in this case, because video number 1 is just an intro, they're probably not going to feel as satisfied because they're going to want to have some more actionable content. So you could do it in a way like, let's say the first week they get access to the first 3 videos. And then the second week they get access to the 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, 8, 9 is the third week. So if I were to do that and think through it, and I say, okay, people are going to be satisfied with these pieces of content and this, and I've gotten to that conclusion where I feel that they're going to be satisfied, and I know they're going to be satisfied, then I can actually begin to make my delivery plan. Now, the reason why I want you to think through this is because if somebody were to receive on the first day something that's not very satisfying, they feel like they didn't get their money's worth, then guess what? They're going to cancel and they're going to ask for a refund. So you want to make sure that you give enough, but not give too much. Now, if I were to give, let's say on the first day, all of this, and all of this is way too much, it's very overwhelming, then, and let's say I give for every week or maybe every day, I give a brand new course. Now that would be very overwhelming. And what happens there is somebody will actually get the stuff. They're going to be really happy at first, but then they're going to realize that they're just not going to have time. So you're going to get people who have buyer's remorse and they feel like, wait a minute, I really don't have time. I'm going to have to get my money back. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to make money with this, or I'm not going to be able to learn this and this and that. So that begins to enter the picture. So what I'm trying to get at is don't give too little and don't give too much. So now that you understand that process, let's go ahead and organize all of this content. So let's say, for example, this is just month number 1, and week number 1, they're going to receive these 3 items and so forth and so forth. Now, if you're doing text or any type of newsletters with content, then you might want to actually put it inside of the autoresponder itself. But if you have some sort of videos or reports or PDFs or anything like that, then this is when this video or this part of the video will be applicable and will be helpful to you. So in this case, I have AVI files and Flash files. And let's say because people are learning only, then I'm only going to provide the Flash files. And what this means is when somebody goes to the link that I send them, they're going to be able to watch the video on site. So obviously you need to locate your files, and then you need to zip your files up. Or if you're not going to do zip files, then you want to make sure that they can read it, or they can watch it, or they can download it off of your site. So in this case, I have decided that, okay, all I want them to do is watch the video on my website. So this is a Flash content, which basically means somebody will come to the site and they'll see the Flash video immediately. Now, what I want to do here is I want to do, say, week 1 and then dash, and then it could be whatever that specific piece of content is about. So I could say week 1, and then let's say for video number 2, I also have week 1. And then video number 3, I got week 1 as well. Video number 4, I have week 2. and so forth and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and go ahead and do that so you can see it all in action. Okay, so I went ahead and did it, and as you can see, I've got week 1, week 1, week 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3. So right now we have created amount of content for 3 weeks. And of course, I can add to this and create more weeks of content in the future. But in this case, I just want to use this as an example. So as you can see, I have named it week 1. So in this case, I'm going to send all these 3 videos to people in one email. Now, if you want to do it on a daily basis, then you might want to say week 1, day 1. Now, I know this looks a little tedious, but I guarantee you that it's going to help you in the long run. So day 1, because that's an introduction video, let's say we'll just give that on day 1 as well. But the third video, which is article research, and let's say my target audience are newbies, so they really need to understand how to do it correctly, and they need the time. So I'm going to say day 3. And if it's on a weekly basis, you probably want to spread it out among the week. You don't want to do it too far, but you want to do it enough where they can watch the videos and take action. Like take action that day or the next day, and give them enough time so that they take action. And this is one of the strategies too that you can use with, getting them to stay in your membership site. Remember, don't give too little, but don't overwhelm them either. So your goal is to help them take action. If you can help them take action, then you're one step closer to them staying at your membership site. But not only that, they're going to succeed, and that's what you want. So week 2, we're going to do day 1 here. And then since that's social networks, I'm going to do day 3. And then I'm going to pause this video and just go through all of these. All right, so now you see that I've gone through everything, and I've got week 1, day 1, and then day 1, and then week 1, day 3, and then week 2, day 1, and week 2, day 3, week 2, day 5, and as you can see, I've done day 1, 3, and 5. And the reason why I did that was just to leave a day in between so that people will have enough time to take action. If you can get them to take action, then they'll love you. And if they can succeed, then they'll love you even more. And of course, they'll stay at your site even longer. So now that you have done that, we're almost done. Now, before I end this video, what I want to do is figure out, in terms of an autoresponder, okay, I've got week 1. So there's 7 days in a week, and if you start using an autoresponder, the day 1 is actually starts with 0. So day 3 would actually be, let's see, 1, and then what I'll do is I'll use dots, and this is really not that complicated once you get a hang of it. So day 1, week 1. So we'll just do day 1. Okay, day 1. 0, and then day 3. So we're going to put 2 emails or 2 links in this one spot, and this is 1, and then 2 is day 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. So in actuality, it's just that day minus 1. So we've got 7 days here. And then the following week is day 1. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then so forth. 14, 15, or not 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then so on and so on. So this is actually the schedule that you're going to enter into the autoresponder. And as you can see, it's basically just a day minus 1 to get that number. And it'll make all sense when I actually set up the autoresponder and set up the sequences and everything like that. So I'm going to close this down and we're going to move on to the next video, and I'm going to talk about how to increase your stick rate so that people will stay in your membership site. Hello and welcome back to video number 4, how to create a high stick rate and customer value for your fixed term membership site. Now, before we can begin to think about how to create a high stick rate, you need to think about why people leave. Why do refunds happen? If you understand this, then you understand how to prevent this. And I'm going to go through and show you some tips and tricks that you can also use. A lot of time people leave because they don't feel that they got their money's worth. They feel like, oh man, I didn't get my money's worth, or so forth. I feel ripped off, and they start getting all these thoughts into their head. They don't feel like they can get the help that they need. They don't feel like you care. They don't feel like the content that you give is not of quality. So they don't feel like you have quality content. They feel overwhelmed. Then after that, they feel like they don't have enough time. And suddenly, buyer's remorse begins to happen. So what we want to do is try to prevent that from happening. How? Well, first of all, you need to create a really amazing experience and environment. So it's all about the experience environment that you create. If you can create a great feeling and a great environment for them, then it's a perfect setting where you can really engage them, get them to take action and so forth and so forth. So that's why it's important to stand in their shoes while you plan the site. You'll notice that in the previous video how I talked about, okay, the first things that they get, you need to make sure that they feel like they have gotten enough, or they feel like it fits newbies, it fits possibly even advanced users, and so forth and so forth. Because if an advanced user comes in and they feel like, wait a minute, I have to wait a whole week to get this other content, and I'm already aware of this content, then that could be a problem. Then you're probably going to get refunds from the advanced users. But if you give too much content and a newbie comes in and thinks, wow, this is way too much, and then what happens then in their mindset is they begin to think, wait a minute, I don't have enough time. And once that seed is planted into their heads, then you have a potential refund on your hands. So what you want to do is you want to create enough content, but not too much content, otherwise it'll freak them out. So it's a fine line between too much, too little, and just enough. You don't want to give too much, but you don't want to give too little. But you want to give just enough. It's kind of similar to how when you tell somebody how to do something. Most people, when they want to learn how to do something, they want it simple and straightforward and to the point. They want to know how to do it and possibly the whys and the whats and so forth. But if you give too much information, then it begins to freak them out, and then all these sorts of feelings start coming in. But if you give them too little information that they can't actually take action, then they're going to be frustrated. So you need to figure out where that fine line is and then go at it. Another thing you need to do is provide the best quality content. I know this is somewhat self-explanatory and you might be thinking, yeah, I know this, but you'd be surprised how much membership sites out there actually provide not the best quality content. So you need to figure out what they expect and what your competitors are doing right now. What are they providing? Compare their product versus your product. And then what your goal is is to give them more quality content. Now, your competitors might have a lot of content, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is quality content. So what I'm saying is figure out what kind of quality content that your competitors are providing and then give them more. But give them what they can take. Find that fine line and give them the quality content enough where they're going to be happy. Go above and beyond and show them that you care. This is one of the biggest things that I see, the biggest dropout rates for membership sites. When people enter a site and they look at the content and they don't feel like you care enough to create good content, then they're probably going to leave. Now, when I say show them that you cared, it doesn't always mean to reach out to them and start, saying, hey, I care about you, blah, blah, blah. And that's not what I mean. What I mean is show them you care through the stuff that you're providing. Another way, and this is a cool tidbit to show them that you care, is in between each delivery message to send them something that is unexpected. So let's say, for example, that you're sending something every single week. So if I do 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 week, and 4 week, what I mean by this is to send a message. Let's say all the messages are sent on a specific day. What you can do is 2 days after those messages go out, you can say, hey, did you get my message? Here's a link if you didn't. Have you taken action? Here's how to break through some distractions to take some action. Help them get there. If you can help them get there, that'll show them that you care. So again, help them utilize your content and take action. And that's how you show them that you care. So it could be an unannounced tip or advice that they'll want to hear that will help them. And you can check upon them to make sure that they're taking action. And here's the thing, if you help them succeed in any way, help them solve a problem, help them fix a problem, help them stop an addiction, a bad habit, and so forth, and help them take action in any other way, they're going to feel accomplished. And when they feel accomplished, they will feel like you care. Another thing is to engage and follow up with them. So the previous slide is somewhat of engaging, but here are some other ways. You can ask for feedback and use surveys. And engaging with customers, I've seen a lot of membership sites do not engage with their customers. I run a membership site and I love engaging with my customers. And there's a high stick rate because of that. So engage your customers. This is very, very rare. Ask for feedback through different survey, I think softwaremonkey.com, and we've got wufoo.com, wufoo.com, and there's a lot of sites that have surveys. If you can ask for feedback in between those delivery messages, that will actually be great. You could say you provide, let's say, the Fiverr outsourcing video course, and then at the end of the video course, you could say, hey, what did you think of the video course? How could it be improved? What did you find that was struggling for you, and this and that? You can actually take those surveys and create more delivery messages for your future customers. So this is a great way to get feedback and constructive criticism that can improve your site. But engaging when somebody fills out the survey and it's something really good, send them a simple email. Say, hey, thanks for signing up for this survey and filling it out. It's really helped me. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, this is an automated membership site. Why should I have to engage with people? Well, you don't have to, but this is all about getting that stick rate up high. If you can show one customer that you really care, they might stay for a year, 2 years, or even 3 years. I mean, think about it. That's just 5 minutes of your time, spending that time to help that customer. You can also add something in addition to what they get that will help engage them. For example, a forum, a secret newsletter, a blog, or some place to interact. If they can somehow interact with you, and that does not necessarily mean that you give them your phone number, but that just means that they are able to engage with you somehow. Or, like I said here, communicate through email and actually respond to your email. It takes 1 or 2 minutes or 5 minutes of your time, respond to that email, and you could have a customer for a long, long time. Customer value. Do all of this and many more, and your customers will likely stay with you for a long, long time. But if you skip on any of these suggestions, then you're likely going to have a higher drop-off rate. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that you do everything in this video and you're going to succeed. There's no guarantee at all. But if you do all of this, most likely, you provide good quality content, engagement, good environment, and so forth, most likely customers will stay. Hello and welcome to video number 5, how to create thank you download pages. Now, this is going to be the main thank you page, whereas the person purchases through your subscription, through PayPal button, and they are then forwarded to this main thank you page, which then includes your autoresponder sign up. They can sign up and then they begin to receive the emails. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, do you need individual thank you pages for, your week 1, week 2, day 1, day 2, and so forth and so forth? Probably not, unless you have a ton of links. And what I mean by that is if your fixed term membership site is only a monthly membership site and you have, let's say, 20 links, then you might want to create an individual thank you page for that specific month. And so if they get the email, they get a link, the link sends them to a thank you page that has a ton of links on that thank you page. But for the most of you, if you got 5, 8 links and so forth, you can include that inside of the email itself. So it's better off using the email as a thank you email with a link or two or several links on the inside. So remember, do not overwhelm them. Separate it into bite-sized chunks and you're on the road to success. So with that said, let me go ahead and show you what you need to do to start creating your thank you page. So in order to create and edit the HTML thank you page, you're going to need to have a web editing tool. In this specific example, we're going to be using a web editing tool called Composer. And as you can see here, if you go on to google.com and type in Kompozer, it's located at composer.net. Now, I like Composer because it's really, really easy to use. And as you can see here, this is what it looks like. So if you've used any type of word processor, Microsoft Word, OpenOffice, or anything like that, then using this tool is actually just about the same. And it's actually quite easy to do. Now, depending on your operating system, Composer is compatible with Windows, with Macintosh, and Linux. So if you click on this downloads link at the very top, you will notice that they have it in different languages. They have it in different operating systems for Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. So go ahead and download the software, go ahead and install it, and then I'll see you on the other side. Now, since I've already installed the program and I already use it, what you want to do is go back to the folder where all of our other pieces of content are located, right here. So what I like to do is just put the thank you page somewhere in the folder so everything is easily accessible. Now what you need to do is you can create it any name you want, but what I normally do in Windows is I create a new text document, and then I rename this and call this thanks, and then put a bunch of numbers, a bunch of letters, .html. And click on yes, and this will be our thank you page. Now, if I've installed Composer and everything is working, then all I need to do is right click that file and click on open with, and I'll move it down here so you can see it better. But if I right click and click on open with Composer, as you can see, it has opened up our thanks bunch of numbers.html, and this is our thank you page. So normally what I do on the thank you page is I say thanks for purchasing, please fill out your name and email to begin receiving the content. And what you can do here is you can actually highlight this and change the font if you choose to do so. You can make the font larger, you can make the font smaller, you can bold it, you can italicize it, you could underline it, and so forth. And you can also change the font face here. So if I want to make it Arial, I can do that. Thanks for purchasing. I can put that in red. And to please fill out your name and email to begin receiving the content. Now, in order to finalize the thank you page, I need to have the autoresponder code. So what I like to do is put some sort of phrase, a keyword phrase, like 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And then in the future videos, I'm going to show you how to get the web code from your autoresponder and add it over here. And you'll see why this is important to have. Something that is unique and something that you will remember. Now, you can also add some images here. You can also add some other offers that you can sell people on the thank you page, and a lot more. Now, in terms of creating the sales page, editing the sales page to have a PayPal button that then forwards to this specific thank you HTML page, I'm going to show you that in the next video.